engineering design for problem solving, right? We engineers solve hardware problems through software problem, right? That's a no phrase we used to say. Engineers, we try to solve hardware problems through software problem with less manpower or difficulties or complexities in solving the problem, right? Okay, just screen share this one. We have completed up to 6 steps, right? Identifying the problem, gathering needed information, searching for creative solution, overcoming obstacles to creative thinking, moving from ideas to preliminary design, evaluating and selecting a preferred solution. We have done until this last class. Now continue with preparing reports, plans, specification and project planning. As a project planning, we end with monitoring. Okay, you can stop me anytime if I'm going faster, right? If anything is not clear. Preparing reports, there is a standard format, right? You have to follow the format. All the things that we have discussed so far in designing or preparing the plan for the design or solving a problem have to be documented in a proper format. It is called project report or agreement or consultation or kind of a contract. It may be a contract or it may be a tender notice, right? Whatever the relevant document that is to be prepared and documented will be done at this stage. Number one, all the planning and specifications or engineering to describe manufacturing division or to a contractor sufficient detail about the design so that it can be produced or constructed. You must have specification, plans, drawings, estimation, and the stakeholders involved, everything to be there to contact, right? At times of troubleshooting or people involved are important. You have to document everything in this form. Then engineering drawings are probably the most important type of documentation for engineering design, right? As engineers, we deal with numbers, right? Numbers can be easily represented by diagrams, charts, graphical representation, right? Sometimes you may show the graphical representation, what the value will, how the phenomenon will grow or decrease. Based on that, you can decide all these things. It may be a graph, or it may be a execution, or it may be a tabular column, or it may be a diagram which can explain the process. All these things should be all are to scale, up to scale. It is not a sketch. You must draw to scale, must adapt the scale to draw it in the soft copy. Maybe nowadays it's a computer drawing, right? All based on computer drawing. No more blueprint, all black and white prints printed by computers and softwares. You must have a drawings. How is the technical report? It may have a specification on drawings and also technical report like this. Technical report means all information arranged in this format. It will have cover page, abstract, table of contents, body of the report, conclusion, recommendation and appendices. Like you do your project report, this kind of engineering design will also have a standard format. This is a generic format that one have to have, like you have for your project report. Cover page, what will the cover page say? I read this first. A technical report is a complete record. So it should be a complete record, a Bible of a project or a design. So we can have the differences. The report will have communication. It's the one way of communication. See, report is a way of communication to the subordinates, to the workers, to the engineers, or to the executives, or even to the government, right? If there's any government approval, you have to send this approval, the report with all the details and specifications to know the project. Based on that, they will give you approval. It may be for a company under Company Act, approval for a company, or approval for safety, or for environment, or for engineering design, or for other compliance requirements. Okay, and then being a report, being a communication between parties involved, you have to have a standard format, and this is explained here. Number one is a cover page with all the company details, author, the people involved, companies involved, partners involved, and the dates, date of starting and ending, or maybe duration, titles. And then abstract will have a short overview or summary of the work, table of contents, body of the report. Body of the report must have all the information related to the project. It may be a design, it may be a construction, it may be a refurbishment or renovation, or solving a crisis, right? Or for improvement of a community, or any kind of problem solving method, which elaborates on a problem solved, presents, background, material, procedure used, results, and significance. See the heading, you must be very specific. Target on the material, target on the method, procedure, results, and significance of occur. Every project should be a unique. Later you will study in this project, must have a unique result. Otherwise, it's not a no longer a project. No need to do, right? X or Y, no need to do a project which doesn't have any unique result or outcome from the project. Finally, you will also have conclusions and recommendation. Whether the set objectives are met or not, you have to mention here, which summarizes the results and significance of the work. You have to summarize finally what is expected, what is the outcome, and there are sometimes they are tagged with time or just outcome only. Appendices, you may put all the extra drawings, running results, right? The stages that you have undergone, some relevant materials, codes, right? Sometimes you have to adapt the codes then and there. All those things can be attached with the appendices. Oral communication, that is most important, right? That is where the people, when they are traveling, Asian, get employment in Western, or especially when you go to China, Japan, all or almost all the whole country is talking in Chinese or Mandarin languages, Mandarin or Cantonese, their own slang, right? You can, if you go to as engineer, you may have to go to site, liaise with the people at the lower level at different levels. All the communication should be there in their uh, mother tongue or their own tongue, right? And their own language is important when you go for other countries or other language people, right? Work with other language people. Hence, communication is also important. At different stages during the design process, an engineer may be called upon to give an oral progress report to the design team, the supervisor, management, and marketing people, right? Having done an excellent report, the way you present, the way you insist on the importance of the project, if it is not delivered properly, there is a high chance that you lose the project. You don't beat the project, you lose it. So the way of communication, presentation in terms of in the way you present, the way you emphasize on the importance of the project is all matter, not only in the report, in terms of presentation orally. Okay, this same goes for your current project which you are doing in EIS, right? And the sustainability project. Having collected and represented everything in your report, you must also train yourself, practice yourself to say, present your project in 3 minutes, given 3 minutes, clearly on what you achieved, what is the target, what is the achievement. Just say what is the target, set in the beginning, whether you achieve it or not, so that your project is understood and given importance or given priority on top of others. Okay, see, last time also, when you become in later, when you take a project as engineer or as academician, on any portfolio, if you take a project, it's a global competition. Recently in March, I sent one proposal. It's a global competition. Only 22 proposals have gone to the top level. UCSI, from UCSI, I was the one. But even in that, only 10% was selected. Just 2.2 proposal only selected. To that extent, the competition is very high, and you should know the niche. You should know the current topic, whether it is really important, All these things are there in selecting and designing, and in terms of report as well as in communication. You have to achieve at each and every level. Only 2% is selected. So to that extent, the competition is very high. Globally, everyone is working hard. Every student, I see 80%, almost 90 or 100% of students are working hard. Only very few are winning. The competition is growing, so you must really develop the skills and find out the keep developing, and then finding out the errors, the mistakes that you do. One time you will achieve it. For sure, you will achieve it. Some pointers for good oral presentation. Please follow this also in your project presentation. Be very familiar with the subject, right? Read. In this stage, you are reading, learning, right? This is the time you can learn more. Having chosen SDG 1, 2, 3 or 3, read thoroughly, understand the meaning, right? It's English meaning, right? You have to understand the meaning. Clearly read the materials, relevant materials, almost at least one material every week, one journal every week related to your topic. You read, you get confidence. You know what is happening. I'm sure you will get it. That's how you must get familiarized now. Later on, when you start getting into your job or you start up your company yourself, you must get experience by yourself, taking voluntarily, taking participation, using the opportunities to excel in your area. Know how much time is allotted for the presentation. Yeah, familiar with the topic, confident in topic, the time taken given to you, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, don't exceed it. It is also being evaluated. Most of the presentation time given is also evaluated. For this mock presentation, trials are all required by individuals to get practice. The presentation to cover everything completely within the time given. Yeah, having confidence in the subject, follow the time. All these things can be achieved by practice. Know your audience. It is not necessarily, it's 50% you should know your audience. But having known your audience or don't know your audience, assume that they are not aware of this topic. That is how you get already 100% confidence in you. Always, whoever it may be in front of you, maybe your superiors, your supervisors, your teachers, your evaluators, whoever it might be, assume that they don't know anything. That kind of attitude should be there in your mind to present yourself. Internally, you should be prepared, right? Mentally, you should be prepared, and you should have confidence and all this familiarity topic, all these things you have done already, right? But to make yourself, put you on top of everything, assume that the people who are sitting in front of you, evaluating or looking at you, attending your presentation, you assume that they don't know anything. They are unaware of whatever you're going to talk. They are at zero level knowledge. And then build up your confidence. Do what you have done in specific terms and clearly. Match presentation level with audience understanding. Level of understanding also important. Don't do high level or very low level. But we cannot strictly take it. Sometimes it's a group of multi-level people. In that case, have 50% of your low-level thoughts and then jump to advanced level. Speak clearly and eloquently. Eloquently means like a politician talk. Politician addressing a meeting. Have you ever attended? Very loud and very fireful. Not necessarily like that, but have some eloquently knowledge. That question, eloquent. That kind of question should be there to have confidence talking and reaching the audience. Speak clearly. Talk from the stomach. Don't talk from the mouth. If you talk from the mouth, it's mumbling, right? All have this problem. Don't worry. Everybody is having this problem, but you can overcome by practice. Talk from the stomach. Some pointers for good oral presentation continue. Have simple and uncluttered visual material, right? Yeah, visual material will be very easy and clear, not having the jumbled things, right? Or unclear things or irrelevant materials. All these things can put your value down. Do not put too much information in one visual. Have a good summary and conclusion. Highlight the important parts of the presentation. End the presentation by asking questions to the audience, right? These are all the things that you have to have. See the bullet points, familiar with the topic, consuming time, timely, practice well, know your audience, the level, know your audience also having the level already, clearly, talk clearly, use simple sentence and materials should be clear, visualize should be clear, right? Because you talk too much, or put too many sentences, and this is theory subject. I have to put theory. I have no other way. That's why I put full of theory here, points. But in your presentation, in any design for which you're bidding, you have to have more diagrams, right? Pictures. Pictures can convey 20,000 words or more than that, than what you talk, isn't it? So have a good summary and conclusion. At the end, you should say clearly the conclusion statement. No conclusion, just present the material methods. With that, expecting to do it's a very flat or blur answering an outcome. Presentation is not viable to succeed. End the presentation by asking questions. Scheduling and planning a design project. Yeah. A design project will involve several steps, right? And thus, the design problem solution need to be included a schedule or a plan when to do the Yes, in addition to the report, we are doing report in this format, right, Nene? In this format. In addition to this, in the report, you should also have a Gantt chart, a scheduling. This one you study in project management. You must have a plan. Like, what is so? For example, I take the name Kartini. Kartini, I think you are here. Has taken up master studies for the PhD studies. Then should have a Gantt chart, plan herself to go how the following 5 semester will go. If it is PhD, how the 3 years going to be. You must have a picture, right? For go, how are you going to plan? First semester, what are the modules you're going to observe or credit? And then what exam necessary? What are the seminars? What are the meetings she has? And what are the milestones to achieve? Is a seminar every year? And so on have to be checked thoroughly. Have an idea beforehand. Okay, it may be your own completion of your PhD project, master project, FIP project, or company project, government project. In anything, you should have a plan, a Gantt chart, start and end. Later, you study the characteristics of the project. That I may explain more about the project scheduling. Since design frequently are changed and improved throughout the entire process, design reviews should be included at the end of the each project. It's very important. Once implemented, I don't know what is the next topic. Yeah, I have to talk at this point. Anyway, I will mention here. Also, since designs frequently are changed and improved throughout the entire process, design reviews should be included at the end of each project phase. Yeah, whenever they do the project planning, they put version 1, version 2, and even for who are the persons involved. Very first, second page, second page, I think. Before the content, they will have a tabular column. When the project inception meeting happened, what is the first version? Who did it? Second version, who did it? Third version, who did it? So the report, you will have all the information, including the reviews and improvements that has happened in the project design and the development. Okay, reviews are important. That will help you to monitor yourself, right? Why and how and who did it for better result. I will talk more about this later on. Implementing the design. How many of you joined? Now the time is 2:20. Please follow up the time. Am I audible to you? Chat, some message came. Sorry, Miss being late. I had issue. Internet connection. 134, very good attendance. But what about remaining 41? 7 missing. Okay, take care. But I keep saying it's theory. Just listen to the lecture. You are learning 50% of it already, right? And the two, we are not meeting just online. You really need to learn here frequently these terms so that you can remember. Okay. Implementing the design. Interesting one. engineers, you are involved in the project means you will go until the end of the project, until the closure of the project. Certain projects are closed or certain projects are continued. In all, as long as you are attached with that company, you are responsible for the stages of the work. Implementing the design stage, what you do, final stage of the design process involves the construction of the product, right? Once you had plan, once you had drawing, specification, stakeholders involved, labors involved, materials involved, all are collected already. Now we are going to the implementation stage. Implementation may be a model erection in the laboratory, prototype development, a real structure development, or go to the site and construct, or go to the people and talk, put into action, right? Implement a system, erection of the machine, construction of building, and commissioning, right? Commissioning the project, convening the, doing capacity building. Every project in Japan, if you go for Japan, Singapore, their project is very focused. They will, at the end, they will say, what is the capacity building happen to this project? What is the capacity building? Whether it's still the same percentage before and after the project. So these kind of things will affect, and they are very serious about counting for the capacity building at the end of the project. In that case, implementation is most important, and then the engineers must plan and oversee the production of the devices, products, and supervise the construction of the engineering project. You must be very cautious during the construction. Ensure that the plan, whatever plan is implemented, and if there is any flaw, you can troubleshoot, and you never oversee any of the dimensions, requirements of the party, right? The owner might have suggested this triangular shape of a toilet, then you should make a triangular shape of toilet, right? You can forgetting that, and as usual you construct a rectangular or square, you have to you will be sued, and it is very serious issue in internationally, right? You have to have a required dimensions, required data implemented at the construction or in area structure. It may be a product, right? And there are many issues like if you go for in every area, right? Not only in construction, in computer field, mechanical field, right? Everyone has their own design and construction implementation, right? They will come across with the issues that can overcome while the engineer in charge or the person in charge is careful in the construction itself, building the power system, building the power plant or a treatment plant or oil refineries or the production machine and so on. Care should be taken precisely to make it precise and flow free, right? Assets and model. So now we implement already, right? Constructed already. The product is developed or modeled already, right? And then comes monitor. Once the implementation stage, it may be commissioning, erection, or put to use, right? Launch into market. Yeah, sale. Wow, very interesting area, but I cannot talk too much deviated things. But you have in front of you have sales, online sales, right? Alibaba. After that, who is leading now in China? Alibaba was on time. Now, who is leading in online marketing? Any idea? See, don't say I'm engineer. I not bother about management business things, right? That's why every project is interdisciplinary. You must have partners in various discipline, get to know each other and get updated. Nowadays, networking is very easy. Who is leading online marketing? Maybe you, at the end of the session you say or write in the chat box. Marketing is not so easy, and if not handled properly, if handled properly, it's so easy, dead easy. Sitting in your computer or sitting with your computer in your house or any place within a company, you can earn more. No need to struggle much nowadays, right? Engineers must plan and oversee. Yeah. Once it's implemented, you need to monitor, right? Some projects are close at this level. Some projects have to be monitored, not at close and no end, have to be monitored throughout the life, and find out the issues, right? Find out the issues, find out the improvements required. Like assess and monitoring and assessing is essential as it determines the extent to which the problem has been solved, right? But are all the outcomes set are finalized and implemented or not? If anything is left out, you can have an examination or investigation through usage. Later it might be fixed. If at all any problem occurs during usage, it might be attended during its usage or after some time it is used. If the problem is not solved or not alleviated and the effects still exist, then the solutions are effective, isn't it? Yeah, not effective, right? Some problems not unsolvable, especially sociological things, very difficult. And now microbiological, COVID-19, still not able to solve. Means what? It needs more rigorous research on this, people involved, expertise involved, right? So some problems are not solved, and then find out the reason behind, try to fix it. But COVID-19, we are still struggling, right? We are still struggling, and we are finding the ways to get the best vaccine. And then return to the problem solving process again, to redesign it, right? Once it is unsolvable, you must go back to, again, it's always better to follow a holistic approach. What is holistic approach? Go from the beginning, start from the beginning. If there is any mechanical engineer, if there is any flaw at the pipe at number level 9 at the east side, don't fix at that point itself. You may fix for now. Later, after a few days, if there are chances that the whole system or many number of lines get affected. In that case, you really have to go down to the source and to the outlet last end, till the end, find out the reason, the cause. Then it is the best monitoring, best assessment of the problem, and the best solution provided sustainably, right? Sustainable will come for long run. Any issue, I'm telling, for mechanical engineer, for water engineer, for civil engineer even more, water engineers are very even more. There is a problem at the canal. You know the rivers have many branches. There is a problem at the canal. Don't fix the problem at the canal itself. You must find out why the flooding happened at the canal. It is maybe due to because of the main line or the head end or tail end, which is not which is always having a waterlogging problem, or sides, branches. So many things are involved. So don't go to the problem at the site and solve at the site. Must have a holistic, not narrow down your solution. You must broaden and have a holistic approach from source to end, from top to bottom. You must analyze to provide the best sustainable solution. For complex problems, use while revisit the problem solving process, proper assessment tools. Yeah, you have to check at each and every level, methodology used, tools used, the experts used, right? Experts was undertaken, whether it is complete, any area is not addressed properly, right? All these things have to be addressed properly. With that, you can solve the problem, engineering problem, design problem, or project problem smoothly. Right. I stop here. These questions are addressed in your quizzes itself. Any question in project, in this case, engineering design, how to design an engineering problem, or how to design an engineering project for solving a problem. Any question here? If no question, I'll move on to the next chapter. Any question in the project, you please keep, there are two Word file I have posted on the file section. Please go and type in your questions related to project in project file. Another one, I have said the feedback, general feedback about teaching material, assessment, your requirement, whatever you need for this module. You please write down there. Any consultation required, you can get appointment to clarify yourself. Or material, additional material. Some people can manage, some people they need support, right? and somewhere you got stuck with so many materials, there also you can always contact us for help. Just text me, I will give appointment so that it's clarified. Don't come at the end, at the time of submission. You say I have a number of questions, I got confused, I don't know what to do. Please address the issues right now. That's why the Excel sheet is there and the file, Word file is there. I have also shared the link here. You may type. You are representing for the class. Don't worry. I don't know who is typing. Don't worry. You represent for the class, whatever the comment you are giving. So nobody will be caught. I want a free and frank opinion, the comments from you, so that we retain the good points and the things that I have to improve. I will improve, and together we improving. Right? Come on, we go for next one. Am I talking very fast? Excuse me, the pace of the class is okay, the speed. Are you there? Hello? 133, one reduced already. What happened to him? Chat box. I'm talking very fast, huh? No, I'm asking the question. Is the pace okay? Okay. If any comments you can write down. I try to minimize the speed. You will get used to, don't worry. Where is the slide? I will go slow at times because the very basic and important things that you have to remember. If any complicated here in this module, I'm not teaching being different types of engineers. I'm not teaching any calculations, right? This is purely theory fundamentals, know-hows, the points that you have to remember in terms of engineering design, in terms of project, sustainability, all theoretical point of view. No calculation or big design is required in this module. Please remember this, and you can try past exam papers for your workout. Not workout, the type of questions that you may expect in the exam. And the comments on midterm also you can give in, so that we will consider, we will check through how we can improve on. And then come on, project management. Class, any question on engineering design? What is idea? Quick one. If no question, I will ask question. What is idea? Unmute and say please, what is idea in engineering design? The acronym stands for? Okay, keep thinking. And then you cannot share loud. Identification, then what? Right. That's why the theory is important. The classes are important. The class itself you can learn. What is idea? Quickly. Anyone answer please? Is it mute? Let me check. You can hear. What is idea? Forgotten. Don't forget idea. Identify, develop, execute, and assess. Why I recall this one, you're going to learn some more theory and points that you have to remember in project design, acronyms, the short words, right? That's why I want you to recall what happened last chapter and then go for it. Idea, and there is smart. What is smart? Anybody? I don't know why you are keeping quiet. Smart, please. Be smart. Quickly. I go to next slide. What is smart? I don't know why most respond. They are tired attending class. Anyone? What is smart? Just stands for
specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based.
thank you so much. Okay, so remember, he has recited already these terms. If you remember, you are able to answer all the points that is relevant to the engineering design, right? The points that you have to remember. Just keep it aside. Now just jump, I mean, let us start jump on to the project management next topic, which is more or less similar, but there is a different skills that you have to learn from here. This is also an engineering project, right? Engineering design, but it has to be dealt separately to learn the skills of executing a project, right? That one, designing, execution has some more important things that you have to do. I put under 3C, project management, covered by apply the engineering design process and the importance of project management in organization. C3, the level of learning that you have to go for here is C3. You have to apply your engineering design to develop the skills of planning and execution of a project. That is what expected from this topic. The end of the topic or the chapter, you will learn the skill, how to execute a project, what skills one have to achieve it. And the assessments are in assignment. I will cover in assignment. Your project assignment already having, right? When I teach the project skills here, like Gantt chart, you may adapt the Gantt chart in your project management. And then, although it is not required, you have to have your own, right? It is not set in your criteria, but you should have that skills to adapt so that you are achieving all the deliverables as per the project, right? And it's also assessed in final exam. Please remember, similar questions are all the contents are here, only the questions are twisted in here and there. Hence, please remember the points, that statements given in the slide. Our exams are not out of the scope, always dependent on the theory that we are discussing here, because this forms the basis, the fundamentals for you, wherein you can build up your topic of your own engineering, right? Definition: what is the project? A project is unique set of coordinated activities. Okay, uh, it has parameters, some relevant tasks, right? A project is a unique set of coordinated activities, not one activity, set of activities with definite starting and finishing time. They are time bound by an individual or an organization to meet specific objectives with a defined schedule. See, so many terms I'm using. Number one, unique. Number two, have time. Number three, have specific objectives. Finally, there are a few more which are having the schedule, cost, and past performance parameters. Performance parameters vary from project to project. It may be a development of a computer model or gadget or a machine or a building and so on. A project management is the discipline of organizing and managing resources in such a way that, see, if you want to talk about this project management, I really want to share my experience. I recently attended one smart city, smart manage, what do you call, in Hyderabad, India. They conducted a conference on smart systems, IoT base, intelligent base, big data base, blockchain, all interconnected. No engineering can live without these technologies. All are interconnected. Wonderful technology. He has given a transportation system. I mean, smart parking. Smart parking and the with the unmanned, the two unmanned. Smart parking, unmanned, like unmanned drones. Smart parking system with man and unmanned system. Automatically the GPS will show where are the free parking yards. It can direct you to the parking space. You save your time, energy, and everything, right? So like that, the project, it must have its own uniqueness. It must have its own uh, deliverables, right? The project manager is a discipline of organizing, managing resources in such a way that these resources deliver all the works required to complete a project within defined scope, time, and cost constraints. So why you have to separately study this as a skill to achieve few things, few important things: cost effective, time consuming less time or optimal time usage, and achieving the deliverables. Please bear in mind these are things here. I repeat, the project management is a discipline of organizing and managing resources, number one, resources, in such a way that these resources deliver all the works required, all the works required are meeting the objectives to complete a project within definite scope, right? It is already having a scope, so try to achieve the scope, time, within the time, and also the budget. So these factors are to be managed cleverly, intelligent way to get the deliverables. Characteristic of a project. They repeat the same statement. All these two statements are given in point form. Goal, activities, date, resource, uncertainty. Last time, I think I asked this question last time. So many people miss this point. You have to collect all the points and correctly update, correctly provide in the theory. If it is in the theory, chart, right? What the characters should be complete. 6 characteristics are defined here. You in future or you may read from other sources number of characteristics. We are not bothered. But if asked in the exam, please provide the exact things that we are providing you to learn. This forms the basics and fundamental uh, know-how about the project management. Number one is the goal, activity. You must have a goal, objectives, why you need this project, right? What is the need for the project? What are the things you're going to achieve? Activities, the stage by stage activities through which you can achieve your set objective, and the duration to achieve this objectives or the goals of the project. What is the duration? Resources, I'm not talking about during this pandemic time, right? We are talking about general project in general, like this unexpected, right, uncertain things you have to ignore. Consume resources. Yeah, a project has resources. Managing resources is one of the project management skills that one have to achieve. And then I say this one, uniqueness, it comes at the very beginning itself. Must have a unique result. Many people are doing construction project, right? What is your project is achieving at the end? That should be some uniqueness. Many people are developing their own mobile phone, computer system, right? Many companies are there. What is your unique selling point? What is your uniqueness? There should be uniqueness to be marketable, sellable, achieving the target, achieving your what is your target at the end? You improve your economy. I mean, your net return should be gaining, right? Hence, you should have the unique result, some way different from others, right? In a better way, right? Mostly nowadays is a sustainable, should be sustainable. In between, you have a uncertainty and a risk. Having known all these factors, one have to know also what is the uncertainties, what is the percentage of risk, what is the percentage of reliability, how long this project will go, when it has to be renovated or reconstructed or look back to redesign or start from the beginning, and what are the risks that it will fail. The projection for short term and long term should be there. It's all consuming time, but with uh, proper grouping of related stakeholders, related project managers, we are sure to achieve them. Life cycle. Number one, you learn what are the characteristics. Number two is life cycle. Immediately, whenever you take up a project, I think the civil engineering, we have one module itself, construction project management. In that, they use the software to learn how to plan and design and then implement their plan when they go for construction. I don't know about other groups. Please check yourself. There should be a project, module, taught module itself to learn how to handle your project. And this topic and this lesson and these slides and this lesson will provide you the basic thing. Based on that, you can develop your own project. It may be computer or any other field. Start with life cycle is same for all. Okay, any type of project it might be, any area it might be, any region it might be. For all, the life cycle is same. Start with 4 life cycle are there. Wait, okay, it's a diagram only. Okay. 4 life cycle are there. And let's start with defining stage, planning stage, execution stage, delivering stage. Start with defining. Inception, starting of the project. Have initial meeting, calls, call to partners, call for meeting, collect the ground data, right, to plan. Next is a plan. Get some information, networking, media, have some initial meeting, thoughts, whether what is viable, market survey, all these things you can find out here. The feasibility, whether this project is necessary or not, what is the crisis going on, all the beginning, inception is beginning stage work, preliminary studies, preliminary data collection, preliminary survey. Preliminary means very initial, before planning. Preliminary means before planning. Initial stage of discussion will go on at this stage. In that case, the problem statement should be very clearly defined. What you need, normally they say 5 W's: why, what, when, and when, who, all these things have to be addressed very well in the defining stage. Planning stage. Planning is carried out with regard to the project scheduling, budget, and quality level desired. Yeah. Why you have to have a separate planning schedule? You should have check whether your project comply with acts, comply with codes, comply with quality assurance. How is your quality assurance? How, what is your report on quality assurance? There's a difference between quality assurance and quality control, right? What are they? Anybody who is studying or studied before these terms, quality assurance and quality control? When is it coming in? What is the position of these two terms in a project? Please make it interactive. Can be wrong, don't worry. Must check the quality at this level, right? Planning stage. Nowadays attendance is automatic, so be careful. Tell me, what is the difference between and the time where you need this and which level it is considered? Please make it interactive. Like, can be wrong, don't worry, and don't waste a lot of time on one question. Wait, I ask somebody. All names are very good names. Okay, I go by alphabetical order, and daily I will ask two people. Abdul Wahab Samir, what's your opinion? Not sure. What is this? Not sure. Say something. What is, the meaning quality assurance and quality control? Abdul Malik, Nabil. Oh God, all Abdullah Rahman, Hisam. First 5 people, please tell me what is the difference between quality. Very good, Muhammad Ahmad. Come on. Yeah. Unmute and say. Oh, you type here. You can unmute and say quality control requires more inspection. Okay, very good. Very good point. A good try. Next, assurance. 2 things, and also I need the position where it has to be taken care in a project. No, it cannot be right answer. Don't worry. At least make an attempt. Come on. The first 5 people, better I go by order. Otherwise, people will feel bad. Why she picked me? Abdul Rahman Ahmad Wahab just now raised hand. Unmute and say or type in the chat box. Qualification is made like guidance in very good point. Yes, very good try. Okay, now I answer. Slowly you're getting to the topic. Okay, enough. Now, quality assurance and quality control are two different things that has to be in a project. It can be education institution, starting an education institution. It can be a research institute, any type of project. Maybe a construction, maybe a product or model, crisis solving, anything of that matter. In all, you should have a quality assurance and quality. Quality assurance will come before the project, during inception of the project, during planning, even before implementation of the project. The assurance should be there based on the quality assurance. That's why it's here. I see here and budget and quality level. Based on the quality assurance you have given, you have proved in your project, in your design and planning and drawing, specification, material usage, people usage, everything, expertise, everything, the stakeholders, all these things must fulfill the quality requirement. That is called quality assurance. That is always handled before the project or during planning of the project. Quality control is next, like our gentleman said, a lot of work and a lot of inspection required. It's very correct. After the implementation project, the quality control report you have to take and refer. Okay, during project and development of project until its implementation or prior to the project, you will have quality assurance. Having given assurance, you should have a control. Then another book for quality control should be there to refer and check what should be there, what should not be there, should be modified, improved. All these things will be lifelong. Quality control will be lifelong or until the end of the project, right? That's all. You cannot talk about quality assurance at the time unless it is a renovated or renewed project, restarted project. Okay, now execution stage, the production. So all these things you have to fulfill in planning. Project scheduling, budget, quality, main thing. Must have all the documents related to these three. Execution stage, once you made the planning, production of physical product, go to the site and follow all the engineering design that you learn, the steps you learn, complete your design, up to evaluation, then go on implement it. Implement the physical product or material or policy or procedure or building, anything of that matter, right? Lastly, delivering stage, completion and handing over of the project, the commissioning, right? Commissioning of the project, tendering. Whom do you tender it? Maybe for sale or completed product for sale or completed product for marketing, launch it to marketing. Delivery stage must hand over, either it may be handing over to the owner, right? Owner has given you a project to complete, then give to owner or give to subcontractor or give to main contractor or maybe to the government. Maybe a government project you must deliver. When I was working the government project after my graduation bachelor degree, I had to work as an engineer in a construction company. I have to respond or report to government executive engineer or assistant engineer through my reports. They have a weekly report. What is the outcome of weekly? Every week, how much work done, how much material release, how much budget release, all these things you have to keep reporting. Like that, completion and handing over of project, it may be reporting to owner or anybody. In that case, it should be complete, achieving all the prior stages, right? Prior requirements at the time you handing over to the party who initiated the project. This may also include repair and maintenance activities. Yeah, once you hand it over, you cannot end the project. It is not closure of the project. Must have repair and maintenance in most of the project, unless it is what do you call a restaurant, starting a restaurant. Every day you produce, you finish, right? You should not have backlog, right? Uh, unless most of the food materials, food products or medicines, and the medicine also have time, but food products, food making or cooking or um, edible items, it is every day, right? Closing. But these things, most of the projects will have must have continued monitoring, checking, evaluating, and then correcting the flaws and problems inside. The project cycle is concluded by a demolition or decommissioning activity, right? There will be an end to the project. Like you take buildings, sorry, I often refer to building. It's also important, right, for every engineer. Building, there are freehold and leasehold, right? Projects are leasehold and freehold. You know what is the life period? Okay, I give the answer. I can ask everybody because you are different engineers. A period of a project, especially building, residential building or a type of building, is said to be a life period based on the materials and good materials and construction and design. It may go for 100 years, really. 100 years. It requires a renovation or demolition requires every 100 years. That is why they say if you go for purchasing property, they say it is a freehold, it's a leasehold. Leasehold means 100 years only the party can enjoy. Then they hand it over to the government. It's mainly because of the life period of the project. They fix it as leasehold. Leasehold means a little bit less price, but you can enjoy during your lifetime. Your Katurunana, your ancestors cannot use, must return to government after 100 years. Freehold, lifelong. Katurunana and ancestors can use all through the, may enjoy the project. That's how there is a life period, there is a end, isn't it? Leasehold, there's a end. Freehold, no end. And then coming to your, like this, there are projects which can end by demolition, right? Finishing, expiring, and so on. You must know the end of the project. Work until the end of the project for a successful implementation and building capacity at the end. Right. Project life cycle chart. Right now we are coming to the important task. As students, you should have not having statement and theoretical statements to say how is the project, how is the concept, like that. Must put everything in graphical or a pictorial form, right? Every project must have this. This is called Gantt chart, Gantt, Gantt chart. They have a different methods. Nowadays there are different methods. Oh, I didn't give you here. This type and this type and this type. There are few methods that you can represent, right? All are having the diagram. This diagram has all these characteristics. Must plug in. I find students making mistake in leaving this part, this part, or this part, this part. Then automatically a mark is reduced. When we are asked to plot, for example, the last, I think last semester or before, asked to plot for a question, either you may ask to choose the project or project is given to you. Read the question carefully. What question is given, whether you asked to choose of your own choice. Then state the project title first. Without stating, just simply start doing the chart. People make mistake like this. Number one, they don't give title. Number two, they just miss this point or this point. Imagine how you take your own project. Some of you might have started your FYP. Some of you maybe might have done your assignments before, right? You have some experience of handling this project, writing report, writing assignment, isn't it? Based on that, give some information about taking an example. You can take your own example done in the other modules. Give clearly all the characteristics, represent all the characters in here, right? Activity, inception, feasibility. Number one, activity. What are the activities are happening here, right? Activities. Wait, I show the example one. This is only very rough one, and the exact one with all the characteristics. Okay, I will show at the end of the things. So it must have the activities like this: starting time, feasibility, right? The project started, right? You see here all the 4 stages are plotted here. Defining stage, initial stage will have some 3 months, another 3 months for planning. For example, execution, delivery, and so on. So any Gantt chart, any life cycle chart must have X and Y. Number one. In the X axis you plot time. In the Y axis you plot activity. Okay, that is number one. Number two, must have all the stages involved in. Start with initial stage, planning stage, go for planning, go for execution, and delivery. It depends on the project. The duration you can assume to be longer or shorter according to the activities involved. Sometimes defining stage will be short. Always, most of the cases, defining stage will be less, and this may vary between these two. Execution will be longer, some project, and delivery stage is also longer because of the approval, right? Final stage, final drawings, and so on will take longer duration than these two. Okay, or in some cases planning will take a lot. Yeah, for your information, China during pandemic time, I don't know, I forgot the numbers, please pardon me if I make mistake. I think 10 days, 10 days or within 1 month they build a multi-story building, hospital. I think build a huge hospital, a very big hospital within 1 month, I suppose. How they are able to do it, it is not achieved in 1 month, for your information. 1 month or 10 days, I forgotten. I think 10 days, number of days only, just 10 days. Within 10 days, they built a very big hospital. I had forgotten the level. It was a very big hospital, managed to build during the last year, during pandemic time, because of the requirement. They built it within 10 days. How? It is number one, maybe material, number two, maybe they spend a lot of time here. Say the execution time is 1 month or 10 days. They might have spent a lot of time at this point, planning and defining stage, maybe longer. That's how they can make this shorter and perfect. Performance is also important. Having done the very short, taken a very short duration, you cannot compromise for quality or performance. So that means if this is shorter, this might be longer. They spend longer time to have a perfect. They do some prefabrication here and everything taken to the site, just fix it. It took only 1 month for duration of construction. For example, I'm giving. So plan according to the project. It may vary. And then activities. Plot the activities nicely. It may be a line chart or bar chart, or nowadays you would have seen advertisement monday.com. Forgotten the other terms, especially the monday.com often comes and disturb our YouTube videos. There are many good project management software available. You can make use of them. They are plotting automatically. You don't have to worry about. Okay, let me speed up this thing. So like this, you arrange logically the execution, right? The stages, step-by-step activities, and then plug inside the resources, right? And also the risk. I will give you the complete one later, because it's differing from project to project. Generally speaking, every chart should have all these items. I will give an example one later, as I didn't update this slide yet. Project management objectives. So far we saw the characteristics and the items to be there in your Gantt chart. Overall, it has to have these three objectives. All these stages and activities, characteristics are built around these three objectives in mind. Must complete on time. Why you need a project management skills? This is the thing. Why you have to have a separate subject or module or a chapter or a topic in your study? Because to achieve this, to achieve on time, all those objectives and scope within the scope, have managed within the budget, not overshooting or underestimating, and then desired quality, achieving the desired quality, or the performance is achieved. These three are the main milestones to be included in or discussed in a project skill. That is why you have to have a skill separately, learn it separately. Like you learn your designs, design methods, and assembling everything. Importance of planning and scheduling. The cost estimation, everything you have to go through. Number one is importance of planning and scheduling. To increase project efficiency and performance, to identify, assess, and reduce the risk, to define the sequence of activities to ensure optimum use of resources, to provide a framework for decision making in the event of change, to assess project costs, whether the project is within the budget, to know how long the project will take, to disseminate information to people. All these things, if you take uh, If I put it in bullet points, then number one started where I highlight and show you. And main aim is the project efficiency, right? The main aim is the project efficiency, the performance. ROI. I try to say that these three, you classify in terms of these points, you are able to understand and relate to this planning and scheduling. Right? Escape first. Project efficiency is the major thing that is covered here. And then to identify, assess the reduce risk. Risk. Right? Risk is the tag that you have to understand. Because every project has its own risk, maybe budget risk, material risk, labor risk, anything of that kind. To define the sequence of activities to ensure optimum the time, right? It is about the time, use of resources, sequential activities, right? And then maybe resource, like click here for resource. Remember, in terms of resources, again, it's one of the items to be included in a project schedule or project management. To provide a framework for decision making in the event of changes. Yeah, framework, the methodology or decision making process, especially whenever there's a change, you should have a alternate plan B, plan A, plan B, plan C, right? Must have alternates. Maybe we can say this as an optimal designer. It goes with the design. Anybody? Somebody trying to talk? Or just join? One moment. Okay. 1:36. Don't join lately. Your time is clearly written. If you want, I post to you the attendance that is recorded automatically. See, we have to report the exact attendance to the faculty every class. It is already there. How much, where, when you enter, when you go out, when you leave, how much time you were in the class, all are there. Please bear in mind and attend all classes. You don't have to study afterwards, just attend class. You are learning half of the lessons already, right? We are fixing how to remember these points, right? And the planning, under planning, you should have efficiency, right? Your plan should be such a way that it can improve the efficiency, understand and identify or provide a risk. Later you study a separate topic on risk assessment. That time I will explain more, but at least identify. You must identify. Later you quantify. And then resources. Framework should be clear and precise to take action at all alternates. And then to assess project cost. Coming to the cost, whether the project is within the budget. Budget, I put budget. Cost is one word. Budget is the whole. You must have rough cost estimate. You must have a final estimate. All these things will, and I have the knowledge of fluctuation, the inflation. What is the inflation? If the, because the project is, sometimes the project may go for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, like your sustainable project, right? The whole year, 15 years, they said 2030 only they will see the result. Like this, it may be running over the years, must account for the inflation rate. How is the variation of the money, currencies? You may buy some product from other countries, must able to evaluate and find out the correct reasonable price and of quality for your project. To know how long the project and the duration, where it is related, right? Now only they are relating to the duration. What is the duration? Is relevant to the duration? Have to be planned before. To disseminate information to people. Yeah, recently I heard one word la. How? You know the, I don't know if people know about this. Hotels, hotels and restaurants. They are all the business making, and they are renting for people, and they are earning money. And then there was a statement I learned from, I heard from people on the meetings, The Airbnb, there is an Airbnb. This is also a service that is there in worldwide. They are also renting rooms, houses, flats to people, right? And this Airbnb being online networking, they are earning more than multiple times every day than a five-star hotel, five-star restaurants, the famous restaurants, star hotels are earning. It is mainly because of networking. That's the reason they gave. The reason behind is the networking. Why? They have good linking, their dissemination of their dissemination or networking or connectivity among the people, giving awareness about their product method. If it is a product, should be uh, given awareness to globally, right? Then only you can reach all the markets. Like that, dissemination is important, networking is important to succeed your project. Somebody's trying to talk. Who is this gentleman? You have any class at this time? This gentleman? Aduh. Maybe I mute all. Okay. 36. Alright. Come on. Let's continue. I just touch upon the salient points, and don't worry, I'm not boring you too much, but have the keywords to remember. So all these points and planning stage, importance of planning stage goes around money, quality, performance, and materials, and so on, right? You just repeat the same thing on the characteristic here, you are able to achieve it. I repeat, the planning stage is meant for increasing efficiency, identify the risk, and identify the optimal material, the relevant material, framework, right? The procedures and the strategies under which it is being developed, and then the budget, duration, lastly, networking to disseminate information to people. How are you going to disseminate if it is a product? If it is education, right? You are starting a school, you are starting a university, you are starting a program, then how you disseminate, how you reach people is also matter. Some people say, no, I never heard about this. Then you lost already, right? Having been, some part of the globe, some part of the region may be in need of your service, but if you are not reaching them, it is not fulfilled. You are not getting the market, or not, your project is not successful. Type of cost in a project. Normally, there are different types of costs involved. You must have an idea, although you are not a businessman or a accountant or other type of financial person. You should know what are the types of costs involved in a project. Direct costs, it is referring to the labor costs only. Direct labor cost, direct non-labor cost, indirect cost. Okay, all the costs involved in the project can be classified under these three categories. I may ask questions related to theoretical point and no calculation involved, but better to understand in maybe in the assessment or in your final exam. Type of cost involved in the project may be direct labor costs relevant to the labor workers or employees, maybe stakeholders involved, the parties involved, consultants involved in the project. Consultants must be paid, right? In a project, if you are appointed as a consultant, must be paid. If you are a researcher, no pay, only royalties given. When the royalty is given, you are not getting money. It's all depending on the terms and conditions of the project. Okay. So I repeat, if you are a consultant, you will be paid a good amount for the project, but you will lose your royalty in case if you are given a $1 million solution, like what do you call answer for a $1 million question, which is unsolvable, or CASA has a good lead point for the project, right? In that case, you lose a royalty as a consultant. It's again depending on the project, okay? But most of the project, if you're a researcher, you get royalty, but you don't get money. You just get spend the money for your royalty, right? Direct non-labor costs. So you have to include all the parties involved, the payments, salaries, stipend, allowances, taxes involved in this. These are all the labor costs. Direct non-labor costs, costs associated with the material, equipment, transport, subcontractor, etc. meant for specific work. Non-labor costs, all related to material, right? Services, repairs, contracting, subcontracting. You see the construction building, maybe civil engineers and others may be knowing very well. They have contractors, main contractor. Some of the works they outsource to subcontractors. Maybe the design work to some office, and then material to some office. Even the construction itself, substructure to some contractor, superstructure like that. They will call for subcontractors. Those things are called non-labor costs because they will involve each one. Maybe one subcontractor supplying all materials, one subcontractor supplying all labors, one subcontractor supplying the water, I mean, the powers, which are not, I mean, the fuels, right? A particular material that is required for the project. Indirect costs, those that cannot be attributed to a single task of work, such as office rental, utility bills, insurance, and so on. Okay, indirect costs. It is not used for the project, but supporting the project. Okay, the cost that is supporting the project, not directly involved in terms of labor or material. Okay, techniques for cost estimating. Okay, how to estimate? There are different methods. Mathematical methods. Again, thanks to mathematicians, was developed these methods. One moment. Okay, if you go to, if you ask the businessman, he will give you plenty of methods, right? They have 10, 20 methods already on used by the projects, used by the companies. But here we talk about 5 types, 5 general type of costs, or during planning you can come out with the budget based on any one of these method, or the best method is always they go for the parameter estimate. Again, it depends on the project. Mostly we go for cost indexing, right? Or parameter estimate method. Based on the parameter it will be varying, so you have to analyze one by one or calculate one each and every item separately. It depends on the project, depends on the materials and the items involved in the cost estimation in the budgeting. Start with expert opinion. Okay, this one is just for giving rough cost estimate. How much it will cost for building a tunnel? How much it will cost for building a research center, building a satellite, right? Satellite research center. How much it will cost for starting um, a smart city, right? Developing a smart city based on the area and square feet that you are going to build, they can calculate. Based on the expert opinion, you can say roughly how much it's going to cost. This is always a rough cost estimate. Coming to analogy, analogy means just some numbers, plus minus, analytical methods, all the analytical methods of calculation. Given the number, given the rate, you can multiply and say for the whole amount, right? Maybe item wise, material wise, cost. I mean you can involve all these things. You can involve all these things. Once you know the rate, just multiply simply and you can get how much is the value. It's again a proposed cost, right? The calculation is like this: analogous cost. Why is put analogous? Is a rough. And then proposed capacity, right? Initially you have the design, you have the specification. Based on that you can know how much capacity to be built, right? If it is a auditorium, you are building a cinema theater or auditorium, you know already how much seats should be there, how much the capacity, what is the area coverage, all these things you already know. If you are building a new, I mean designing a new car, right? What is the capacity with which it is to be running? Building a new transport system, right? Developing a new transport system. What is the capacity? What is the efficiency, performance efficiency of the system? All these things you know already. So based on the required capacity, and then this is ratio law. just take the ratio. If the analogous capacity, analogous means the tentative, the assumed value. If the assumed value costs this much, what may be the for the proposed cost over some exponent, some function, a fraction is given. It is not to the 1, the ratio is not to the 1, but to 75% only. They take 75% percentage of the rate, multiply by the current cost, you will get the proposed cost. I repeat, analogous cost is the average rough cost. For that, what factor they are using, what factor they are applying, you can say it is costing 5,000 or $500,000 for a project, but you to get the exact value you add with this fraction. What fraction is it? Proposed capacity to the analogous capacity, right? Take the ratio of maybe the analogous may be existing or a sample or a typical building. Take the ratio between proposed capacity and this capacity times, you can say, multiply with the analogous rate, you get the proposed cost of the estimate. Because we do not know about the cost. Moreover, the cost is varying over the period of time. That's why you can take an analogous cost, just take the ratio of the capacities only. Okay, ratio of the capacities. Maybe first year, you are in the year 1, year 2, 3, you have to go. Year 1, you know the cost. Year 1, you know the capacity, how much you can do it. And then propose for 5 years, right? You may take the ratio of these two, multiply with the current cost, you will get the proposed cost. And they come out with the equation to the power 0.7. This is a rough cost estimate that can give you an idea about the future cost based on the current cost or analogous cost. Parametric estimate. Sometimes it is vary from parameter to parameter. Have to exactly quantify, because there are materials involved high cost, low cost, medium cost, right, or free. All these things are there. You have to know what are the materials and the corresponding unit rate, then you get the complete rate. So item wise, you have to work out item wise, work wise, or stage wise, or according to your Gantt chart also you can prepare the cost. Say that is the proposed cost. Cost indexing. Somewhere some people may be using the index. This is very interesting calculation. Cost indexing. C2 is equal to C1 times index 1 over index 2. Is a bracket actually. Something similar to this one. I put it in here. Something similar to this cost. You may have the index, right? The rate of change of the cost or inflation rate over the period of time for that particular item. Then multiply by the current, you will get the projected cost for the material all through the project period. Like that, you do one by one. At the end, you will have the answer. Analytical estimating. Cost of the project is equal to sum of cost of all elements. Sum of is something similar to this one, right? Something parametric estimate. Something similar to a parametric estimate. Just summation of all cost involved. Analytically, work out analytically is just adding the multiplying the rate with unit, right? Sorry, with the whole amount. Number, it may be numbers, it may be area, it may be persons per pax, right? Take the value per pax and multiply the whole number of labors involved, then you get the labor cost. Material, so much cubic per cubic meter, how much cost? Take the whole cubic meter, you know. Like you want to develop a computer center, calculate one computer required, one PC or one laptop required, the rate of one laptop, calculate the total number of laptop, you get the material cost already, space, and so on. All these things are involved stage by item wise, and then sum up all, you'll get the n value, which is cost of the project. I stop here for a while for running our. Do you have class at 3:30? Anybody? Taken much time. Anybody having class at 3:30? Quickly. I have 5 minutes already. I can run it. One moment. Shall we go further? I stop here for project management studies. Now I run the quizzes for engineering design. Is that okay? I don't know what happened to them. Any question you can ask. All of you join the quizzes.com. The usual one we run. Wait, I share for you now. Just 5 questions only. You can quickly answer and you can leave the class exactly at. Maybe. Okay, quick. I shared already. Take down. I put in the chat box also. Join quickly. Don't take too much time because you are doing almost every class. Must get used to. Don't take much time. Join quickly. If you have class, you can leave at 3:30. Okay, you can run later. Just 5 questions only. It will run for 1 minute or plus. Okay, start the quiz. We have 2 more minutes. Finish the quiz, you can leave class. Almost. Oh, wait. Joe, help me. Who is helping me? There's no customer service to help. her name? Dania. Leonard. Oh, basic. That's nice. Then okay. Just finish, you can leave. It's already time up. Thank you. Nice weekend. Nice week ahead. See you on Thursday. Shall we stop here?
Thank you.